Hello and welcome to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Ryan. I am here with my co host, Josh. We are absent one tonight, and that is Ethan. Unfortunately, he's feeling a little under the weather, so we're going to go ahead without him.
Yeah, we do
This is
appreciate
the,
that he went solo dolo on news and injuries. So props to you,
yes,
Ethan.
we really appreciate that. Because both me and Josh were occupied, preoccupied, I should say.
Yeah,
Um,
good old
so yeah,
work.
we were not able to attend and to go over news and injuries. He did a good job, apparently. I
No,
have not seen it, but
he definitely
uh,
did. Nice and
yeah.
concise. There was quite a few that, and I mean, I think he told you exactly what you needed to know for this week. And I am
Well, I
panicking.
mean, I've known Ethan all my life, and that's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
And he's a need to know type of person, and he tells you exactly how it is. So we are in our week 13 review. So we're going to go back and check out all the games that have played currently
Can we not?
and all of the games, Josh.
I
All
will.
of the
I
games. You
will.
can't leave out the Ravens.
No, I'm not going to leave out the Ravens. I just want.
Oh, CeeDee Lamb touchdown.
Is he? Yes
CeeDee
and
Lamb touchdown.
no.
Yes.
Whatever. Whatever, dude. All right,
That's
look,
his moment.
I just
Boy,
need to get this off my chest, dude. I need to. This is the
do it.
pain of
Do it.
fantasy.
Do it.
I am literally. All right, we'll get to Ravens in a quick second, but I just want to let you know that it's painful out here. I literally losing Lamar Jackson today could not have come at a worse time. I was tied for the last spot in the playoffs. It's a win and in situation. I'm going up against someone who is in that win and in situation. And Lamar goes out. And as soon as I hear out for the game, I had to watch the entire second half in straight agony because I knew my season was over. And that no matter what was going to happen, it was over. It was over. It was over. It sucks. Granted, I love playing that league because everyone's so even across the board that it's been a lot of fun because you have no idea what's going to happen. But this is also
yeah.
the second year in a row Lamar has killed me at the worst time possible. Because last year it was when I was 12 and
Yeah,
2.
you're in a bad situation.
Yeah, I'm guys. To anyone listening, I'm down bad right now. It's painful. I hope that's the right slang term. It might not be, and this can get very
You gotta be
awkward
careful
very
what you
quickly.
say,
Yeah, I
Josh.
gotta be careful.
Gotta
I might search up Urban Dictionary in a couple seconds to be like, did I say the right word? But no,
be careful what you research.
yeah,
Because that
no,
yeah.
yeah, let's not do that. But if you are sensing anxiety, that is me, and I apologize.
Oh man. Yeah, so today, me and Josh this week were matched up against each other. And our league is pretty competitive. We're like pretty much the only one that's done really well is Josh. And he's just killed it all year. He's 10-2, and then he plays me.
I'm about to be 10-3.
And he's about to be 10-3. Yeah, so
But
he just ran into his team just ran into a wall
yeah, it's just one of
this
those
week.
weeks where you just kind of have to throw your hands up and be like, there's nothing I can do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I played, the process was fine, just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Now,
And it's not like you had people on your bench that you could have played. This is a like your hands were tied
yeah,
situation. You couldn't have done
like
better.
it's not like Rashad Penny last year and I left him on the bench as he scores 40. It's literally, I think
Yeah.
the most here is Debo at 13.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not going to fix my
It's
70-point deficit.
yeah, yeah. Currently almost 100 points.
Yeah, it's gonna hit 100, honestly.
Yeah.
I have I
I'm
love
I'm
Olave, but
yeah.
it's not gonna end well.
I don't think he can make up 100 points. If
Ah,
if so, like that would be a record. Not only just a record performance from him, but a record game by New Orleans. Like
Yeah,
he would have to get so
he
much.
would have to score
He
six
would have to do all
touchdowns,
of it.
catch 20 passes, and I think have over 200 yards receiving, and
Here,
then we can start talking.
yeah,
And I
exactly.
don't
Like
even
Tampa
think,
Bay would just have to go. I'm done. Like I give up.
yeah,
Olave, here you go.
yeah. All right, hold on. Let me think. 20 catches. So that's 20 points. He would have to have like 200 yards. That's another 20 points.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. Another.
yeah, yeah.
So that's 40. Six touchdowns would be 36 points.
36.
So I'd be at
Yeah.
76. Nope. It ain't gonna
No,
happen.
no, you
Nope.
can't do it.
We did the math.
You
Quick
can't do it.
maths. Oh jeez.
Quick math. Yeah.
Oh
So this was just a really bad week,
yeah.
and my team just went off.
Yeah.
Absolutely went off. I
Yeah.
I had for references, I had my defense
Yeah.
score 37
Yeah.
points.
When you're playing a team and whose defense scores 37, just call it done right there.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
Just completely over.
Yeah. The Cleveland defense just pushed it over a ledge. Like they were
Yeah.
just like, yep, we
Yeah.
are
As soon as I saw that, because
the definition of domination.
Ryan texted me, this game's not over yet. This matchup's not over yet. And I had to tell him, is like, you do realize your defense has 40 points.
See, when I messaged that, they only had like 17
That's
points, and
still
it was in like the
incredible.
second quarter. So I was like, okay, that's a pretty good game. And then they went and scored like 3 touchdowns and had a was it a punt return or a kickoff return? I don't know.
Oh,
Some
the
return.
DPJ punt return.
Okay, it was a punt return. Yeah, that he ran back for a touchdown.
But they had
And in
three.
our league,
Yeah.
the special teams uh earns points on the run back. So their yardage gets added up.
Yeah. And then
Not
on
at
top
the
of that,
same
two
rate.
defensive
Yeah,
touchdowns by the Browns too. So it
exactly.
was three special teams touchdowns, which is like, all right, it
the
happens.
I mean, hey, the Browns defense won that game pretty
They
much. Or the
literally
Browns
send people
special
to the
teams.
playoffs if you started them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And
So
speaking of playoffs, let's
yeah.
start talking about some of these matchups.
Oh,
Because
for
we
our playoffs?
well, not for our playoffs. So I'm saying let's
Oh,
talk about some of our week 13 games that we have to review because
yeah, yeah.
there's quite a lot that we have to discuss. And
Let's do it. Let's
a
do it.
lot of bad, unfortunately. So,
A
but
lot of
let's
bad, some good.
some
Who
great.
knows?
Yeah,
Some great.
who knows? So
Yes.
Buffalo, yeah,
So
let's start with Buffalo's the Thursday
yeah,
night game.
The Thursday night game, Buffaloes,
The Buffaloes.
Buffalo versus New England. So we got Josh Allen. He put up some respectable points. Mac Jones actually ended up doing real well. Almost got up, 200 yards, but honestly, there's not many standouts.
Besides James Cook.
Yeah, James Cook and Singletary, they pretty much split carries
I
throughout the game, and that's interesting to me.
it's gonna be timeshare, unfortunately, from here on out. I think
Yeah,
right now I think the Bills had a wake up call with Josh Allen, and it's like, oh, we do have to keep everyone healthy because
yeah,
January, February is our goal. So that's why I don't mind them trading for Naeem Hines. I don't mind them using James Cook more, but when it comes to fantasy, it's gonna Devin Singletary
but
just gets ugh.
yes, they also can't keep their offense one dimension.
That is
They have to run the ball. That's all they've been doing from the beginning of the year
well
is they've
since
been passing the whole time.
since the elbow
Literally.
diagnosis, they've been running the ball, and
Yeah.
which makes sense because you want to take some pressure off Josh Allen because when you really need him in January, he's going to be there. I just find like Devin Singletary and James Cook is like, all right, are they both viable or none viable? I think there is no in between.
Yeah. I I just don't trust either of them. I have Singletary, and he's been sitting on my bench since.
And this is probably there's
Shoot,
probably a lot of
pretty much
people in
still got it.
redraft leagues who probably have James Cook on their waivers. So is
Yeah,
James Cook a worthy look right now? Honestly,
I think he's a stash. I think he could be a stash.
I think
He
so
could
too.
end up. He could end up being real good. Because I mean, on the other side of the ball, on the receiving side, he got 6 targets and
That's
6 receptions for 40
that's the thing
yards.
that I'm like, okay, if they trust him more in the passing game, then he's way more viable than Devin Singletary. Even though Devin Singletary, we love seeing the occasional target here and there, but if 6 is intentional,
Yeah, it is. They're trying to get him involved in this passing game because they know he's got the skill to do it. And he's got the pedigree too. I mean, his brother is a stud
yep.
and they think they have their hands on another Cook, on another Dalvin Cook. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if they start this game was just the beginning.
I think so
And
too.
and after this game, they start including him more and more and phasing out Singletary.
I wouldn't be, and this is what I said in rookie week too. And I see, I'm not. If there's, I need one win. I need one win. But this is what I said is like, what does Singletary do that James Cook can't? And then if you were to flip the question, it's the passing work.
Yeah.
And so that's where I go, okay, things get very interesting there in the second round. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, obviously, I think James Cook was a better running back than Zach Moss, but now that you have to look at it, it's like this thing's kind of set up for him to take it by the reins because now
Yeah.
you have more play variety and you have to focus on James Cook as a receiving weapon, which then opens things up potentially for your other receivers.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah. On the other side, Ramondre, yay, that's it.
Yeah. Ramondre,
That
what's his
unfortunately,
name is out.
uh,
So
Damian Harris,
Damian Harris. Yeah. Man, he's off my team for
that
half of
that
the
team's
year and
not gonna lie, that team's kind of dead in the
I
water
forget
right
his
now.
name.
And I think it's
They
because they have a
are.
lot of good players. They don't have a great player.
Yeah.
And I would even put Ramondre in that category too, because he's good.
Yeah.
But are we gonna say like he's a great? Like that's where it's like I don't know.
Mm-hmm. He is skilled enough to make a splash, but I don't know if there's superstar ability in him.
Yeah.
So I think he's the number one back next year.
Oh, without a
I think
doubt.
they get rid of Damian Harris and they keep Stevenson and Pierre Strong and just ride Stevenson all
Yeah,
year.
I think it will be Stevenson, Pierre Strong next year. I do think there's room for the Patriots to make a splash move, and I think
Yeah.
it's possible.
I think they're going to go wide receiver with it though.
I mean, I can see it. That
Because
or
I
O
think
line.
Mac Jones needs he's a
Yeah,
consistent quarterback. He just needs someone to go up and get it.
I also think Mac Jones is just he's a really good quarterback, but I do think that you need I do think that you need probably another scheme, and this is where it's like I think Matt Patricia's been way better than I thought he'd be in the
Mm-hmm.
offense. I still don't think right now it's good enough. And
Yeah.
largely because there's just a lot of the small details Josh McDaniels would do to get advantages that would just kind of break things open. Like that's what I'm not seeing. But
Yeah.
overall, though, I think this it's going to be matchup based for everyone else on New England minus Ramondre.
I think so too. And Ramondre is getting some solid work, but they need somebody. They need somebody else that can take the passing game to that next level, or else people are just going to be keying off of Ramondre.
Yep.
So
Uh,
on the Diggs, the Bills passing side, Diggs again another solid performance.
wide receiver
Uh,
one.
Wide receiver one, yeah, and there's no other way to put it. He is wide receiver one.
Yeah, which is crazy
Just constantly
how
putting up consistent numbers.
yeah, consistent numbers, but I think what's been so impressive and just the difference between Dorsey and Dable is the fact this aggressive mindset with Stephon Diggs.
Yeah,
Because if you look at everyone else, Gabe Davis doesn't really make a splash. McKenzie doesn't make a splash.
yeah,
Like there's really no one else. Dawson Knox, not even. And so I just find it interesting because they're actually doing more with less.
yeah,
And I think that's super impressive.
yeah. Well, and this split backfield that they've got allows them to
Yeah.
do that. Allows them, yeah. So I think that's it for our Bills
Yeah, I
Patriots
think
matchup.
what's the next game we got?
Let's go ahead and move on to the Steelers Falcons.
Oh man, this is
Kenny
where
Pickett with another game.
yeah, Kenny Pickett, another solid game. I really would love to text Ethan right now if he can hop in for like 5 minutes.
It's all right. We'll give him
But
another
I'll get
chance.
yeah, we'll get but
Trust me, what he has said, we've all heard before.
yeah. It, I
Boo
mean,
Marcus Mariota.
yeah, it's literally just it's just not good. I mean, both quarterbacks were eh. Najee Harris, somewhat coming back, but it's still not the first round quality that you thought he'd be. But 17 for 86 with a touchdown, no touchdown, is
No
not
touchdown.
bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah. The concern that I have for him is the passing work.
Yeah, it's just
He only
non-existent.
got one target. That's it.
And
And then, but like Connor Hayward, Jalen Warren, and Benny Snell all combined for 4 targets. So I don't know if that's concerning. I'm kind of concerned by it that Najee only got one target out of the entire game.
I mean, it's something that we
So
said that was going to be a problem is because
yeah,
Ben would go to the check down. Kenny Pickett doesn't need to. And
that's true.
if anything, what I can guess is that next year the Pittsburgh will make it an emphasis to have more running back schemed routes. And
Yeah,
because I think the issue is that there's Deontay, there's George Pickens. You have those two, you have Muth, but the extra dimension of running back out of the backfield when it's not a check down, I think makes things very interesting.
yeah, yeah. I can see that. I can see that. So let's. I mean, there's nothing really to talk
Besides
about.
Drake London getting 12 targets, which you like to see,
Well, no,
no.
I was gonna say on the Steelers side,
Oh,
Fryermuth Fryermuth showed up. I mean, he only got about 10 points.
which is a
Um,
very Farmuth game.
yeah, but he was targeted 5 times. That's second behind Deontay
I
on the.
wish it was more, honestly, because I do
Yeah,
think they do try to scheme Muth up. Like in the Colts game, he only had 4, but he should have been 4 for 4. And then, but the game before that, Cincinnati gets 12. And it's like,
yeah,
come on, like give him more. He can handle it. And especially like the Steelers are set up to where it's like, hey, if the receivers aren't happening, Muth is really good. And it's just like use him more, please. I say that because I have him in the league.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, he's turning into quite a stud at tight end.
Yeah, he is
I'm loving that.
currently tight end 6 in PPR.
That's good. That's good. Shoot, man. Um, on the other side of the ball, Drake London had very impressive 12 targets.
I
He
like that.
only caught half of those
But
for 95,
it's just
but
the
it's the
targeting that I'm
12
happy about.
targets. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm happy
it's
about.
the 12 targets. That's really encouraging to see from,
He
Mariota, who only threw 24 passes. So half of those passes went to Drake London.
Yeah. And I think, to be honest with you, Drake London is someone you should look at. Just
Yeah.
as a late season surge, a lot of people probably dropped him by now. And I do think he could be something interesting because if we look at the next couple games that they have the bye next week, but New Orleans, Baltimore, Arizona, Tampa. Like New Orleans and Arizona are interesting. And then if you have a week 18 championship, Tampa Bay is a good matchup too.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm starting to lose faith a little bit.
I do think
So,
Atlanta's setting up for next year. Like I think I would love to see him start Ritter, but I mean, we've talked about it all year. We've been waiting for this shoe to drop that just hasn't dropped. And I'm going to just kind of move forward that it just doesn't.
yeah. I mean, it's a combined a bunch of different things for me that kind of makes me lose faith in Drake London. I know there's a lot of potential there, but I just don't know. I don't know until I see somebody that can get under center in Atlanta
Yeah.
that can be effective in throwing the ball.
I think
It's hard to
I
look.
think you're
It's
going to
hard to
have to
look.
wait till next year. And so
Yeah.
that's just
Even
kind of the
then,
reality.
but
Even then, there's some question marks.
yeah, but there's nothing we can do but watch. So
Well, we can
that's it
choose
for
not to
that
watch.
matchup. What?
We can choose not to watch.
We can choose not to watch. That is true.
Yeah. What's
So moving on to our next matchup, it is a NFC North matchup between the Packers and the Bears. It was lackluster. Justin Fields did work, not in the passing game,
well,
but
I would
um,
say passing game 20.
yeah, I'd say he was effective, but he never found the end zone.
Yeah, I
So
agree
he
with
was
that.
effective. He was 20 out of 25 for 254 and two interceptions. So he struggled in the passing game when it came to turnovers, but and again, he had a 55-yard touchdown run
Yep.
that was just so impressive. Um, their rushing game pretty much was dominated by Montgomery. That's expected after Herbert's IR session.
And
So
on top of that, Fields getting hurt and missing a game.
yeah, yeah, that's true. So he probably took over a lot of that work. Their passing game, I mean, Cole Komet did
Yeah,
well.
Cole commits it's 6 of
Yeah,
7 for 72. Chase,
Claypool's up and in targets.
yeah,
So
and the thing with Claypool is when he was traded for, it was never a this year solution.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to jump from one offense to another in the playbook.
yeah.
And that I'm excited for what Claypool can do next year, not necessarily what he can do this year.
Okay, so you're a little more hopeful on his
Yeah,
production next year and
it's just because I
maybe in
also
the
think
years to come.
because I'm very hopeful about Fields now. Because we are getting
Yeah,
to a point of like, all
yeah,
right, what's it going to change for Fields? Like, how are the Bears going to help them? But now you're seeing we know the lack of talent that's there when it comes
yeah,
to like receiving the O line, the running backs are probably the strongest thing, and Fields is making it work with it. But everyone knows the team just needs work. So when the
yeah.
team finally gets built with Fields, that's why I'm excited about.
Okay. So then Fields would be a stash for you, and we've kind of been saying that for a little
Yeah,
while. I mean, for shoot about a month now,
yeah, pretty much.
saying stash Fields, keep him on your bench, or well, I mean, the
Well,
last couple
probably
of weeks
yeah.
he's been startable,
Well,
but
he's been a star.
he's been a star. Yeah, not just startable, but a
But
star.
I would say in keepers, I would definitely he's in a you hold on to him as a keeper. I don't
Yeah,
care. I don't care that he's a quarterback. I don't care that he's not like a premium position.
yeah.
I think you see what's happening and you get your quarterback when you can.
Yeah. So On the other side of the ball, Aaron Rodgers hit the struggle bus as he's been
I
doing
mean,
for the last.
playing hurt makes sense.
Exactly. So they really lean on their running game against the Bears. AJ Dillon had to take over a little ways into the game for Aaron Jones because he exited with an injury. They said it
And then came
wasn't
back.
really serious. Yeah, he got injured after a couple plays, came back, and then played a couple of plays, got injured again, and then was out.
So
So
this means AJ Dillon might have the workload once and for
yeah,
all.
might
So if you
have
held,
yeah,
yeah. So
pretty good workload.
this is where it gets frustrating because Ryan, I know you wanted to trade for him, and I was at the point I was saying Elijah Mitchell and a third was too much.
Yeah.
But now, if we're talking in the context of this year, like, I mean, if he's going to get the full workload, yeah, give me AJ
Pick him
Dillon.
up.
It's just
But with the way Aaron Jones has kind of dominated that backfield, are you concerned that he's going to come back
he is a
next
person
year?
that, yeah.
So,
I mean, that's the whole point I made is like, what do the Packers look like in 2025? Because based on the kind of the dead cap with the Packers, it's not looking too good.
nope, it's not. And as a Vikings fan, I'm loving it because I want them to not win a game for the next 5 years or 3 years, 3 years till
Divisional
2026.
pain.
Divisional pain. No, divisional revenge. They have
That's fair.
dominated. They have dominated that division for the last 10 years. It's been frustrating as heck. So it's nice that the Vikings are on top a little while. But the receiving game for the Packers,
Dude,
uh,
uh,
Watson, man,
again.
is he legit? That's
So
my question. Is
I
he
have,
legit?
dude, trying to project how he's going to be next year is going to be so difficult.
I it's such a question mark for me. I I love the production that he has and I love the potential, but that slow start kind of screwed everybody up because people were dropping him left
Yeah,
and right because I mean he wasn't producing anything. He wasn't on the roster or he was on the roster. He wasn't on the playing field
yeah.
for
And he
half the
was hurt,
season. Yeah, for half the season. And now these last 4 games he has 8 touchdowns.
which pat yourself on the back, Ryan, because it's fair to say that we were right on this one.
Yeah.
Granted, it took
Uh,
forever, but we ended up being right.
yeah, I'm honestly like I'm impressed with how he's been. Like
Yeah.
Rogers doesn't just trust anyone, let alone a rookie.
Yes.
Rogers trusts veterans who have been there with him a lot and been through crap with him that he's developed a rapport with. And he's trusting Christian Watson, not just in like regular throws, not just in nothing like that. Deep throws downfield and
Yeah.
in the end zone.
Yeah.
He
High
is
level
trusting
throws.
him with all of this red zone work. And that's one thing that I'm like, dang, like he may be legitimate. Ooh, big run by CD.
Hey, good for
A
you,
big
CD.
big catch by CD.
Ah,
So
yay. But yeah, but I mean, the thing it was crazy about this stretch is that if we look at the targets since his big game, it's 866. And it's crazy that he's doing this much production on, for lack of a better word, such little work. And so I'm really fascinated to see what happens next year. He's clearly the number one, but
yeah, I mean him and Lazard are kind of
one it well, I would
going
say
back and forth on that, but
it's
uh,
confirmed Watson's one, Lazard's two.
there's a lot of potential with it. I think he could end up being one. at the beginning of next year. But right now, I think it's kind of back and forth with Lazard and Watson.
I see. I see.
Wouldn't that be funny if Lazard ends up being wide receiver 2 again?
I wouldn't blame because I think that's the ceiling for Lazard. I don't know if Lazard could ever be wide receiver
Tony
one.
Pollard touchdown.
Well, let's check this. You're at
Oh yeah.
194. Oh, that's before the Tony Pollard touchdown.
On
You're
at
at
200
200.
even.
God.
And the game just started.
Jeez.
Yes. More. I want more. I want the record. I want
No.
the record.
No.
Yes.
Stop
Yes.
it. No.
I'm
I,
getting
I,
greedy.
I'm going to use the Coach McDaniel method. All right, Ryan, you really want to sell your soul for this game?
No, honestly, like I've already won. I don't need more points, but it's fun watching
Yeah.
my team just
Look, I'm gonna laugh. I'm the number
absolutely
one
dominate.
seed. I'm gonna be the number one seed in the league. I really hope so. I'm gonna be the number one seed, and
Yeah,
I probably have the worst loss in league history.
that's true.
It's
That's
the
true
grand
because
irony of it
that's
all.
been like I don't think there's been this bad of a loss.
No, I don't think so.
All right, sorry. Let's continue with this.
Let's not talk about this
But
butt whooping I
Christian
am
Watson,
getting.
I this is okay. I'm making a prediction.
Ooh,
If Aaron Rodgers plays next year, they get their O line. Their O line is good. If they stay healthy, if Christian Watson stays healthy, he is a top 7 wide receiver.
I like it. I really do
Top
like
7
it.
wide receiver.
I really like it.
Just with how he's been used in the end zone and how much Rodgers trusts him, if this continues into next year, he could end up being a new Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I think I would say that too. Like he's not getting. I mean, next year I don't think he'll have the same touchdown pace, obviously. But
No,
man,
but he's
once he gets
trusted.
more, yeah, once he gets more targets, though, it's going to be good.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun watching him ball out like that. So let's because that's about it. I
Yeah,
mean, there's nobody else of note. So
nah,
let's go ahead and move on to our next matchup, which was kind of a blowout. I didn't expect it to be a blowout, but the Jacksonville Jaguars and Detroit Lions.
yeah.
I
This
mean,
game was
Detroit
kind of over.
just went off. I mean, Jared Goff in Detroit when he plays at home has been phenomenal.
Yeah,
So I should have expected it. But the real unexpected fantasy producer, is very obviously DeAndre Swift.
yes,
14 carries, 62 yards, and a touchdown, and 4 catches for 49 yards.
yeah, and that's huge. And
What the heck?
considering Jamal Williams only 11 carries,
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think that it is I don't think it's a coincidence that this is the first week that he has not been on the injury list. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I think it was legitimate that he was on the injured list and they were holding him back. I think they are now starting to work him back into that
I mean,
offense.
it's hard. It's hard for me to disagree with that. I mean, look, since he's come back, it's been 5-2-6, 5-5, 14.
Yeah.
Like that's a clear difference there. And
Yeah.
it's so stark that you have to take notice of it. And I think like how we were feeling about Swift, I feel like was correct last for the last few weeks. But if they're going to go back to him, I mean, let's see what happens, honestly.
Yeah,
Because if he does end the year strong, then he may still be in that workhorse category.
he definitely could be. Now I think they're going to still be splitting carries with Jamal Williams, but I think DeAndre Swift is going to be taking a majority of the roles.
I
I
think
think
so
he's going to
too.
end up being what Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon were last year.
I definitely think that's up, like that's very much in the realm of possibility that we could be within a timeshare.
Yeah,
Now the question is whether Jamal Williams gets passing work, and that's a big question because I don't think he will.
I don't think he did.
No, he didn't,
He
not at all.
didn't.
So if all the passing work's going to Swift, then you better
Yeah,
ride with Swift. But you just know that
yeah,
a
because
lot of
he
the
got
goal line
six
work,
targets.
yeah, a lot of the goal line work's still going to go to Jamal Williams, but
Yep, but those big plays are going to be going to
to
Swift.
Swift, yeah. So it's very, very interesting.
It's going to be a little more volatile situation with Swift because those games where they're behind, which they're the Detroit Lions, so yeah, they're going to be behind.
Look,
But
hey, I mean,
I
don't look
mean,
now. They're 5-7.
yeah, I was gonna say like their defense. That I want to point this out. Their defense has been solid the
Ever
last
since
like
they
three
fired their
weeks.
DB's coach.
Yeah, I mean their defense has been solid. So yeah, for the first couple of games, well, I mean for the first really probably about 9 games, they weren't good at all. Like they were pretty much wet tissue paper could do
Yeah,
more than them. But now they have kept close games or shut them down in the last 2 to 3 games.
I
I
mean,
know
if
with the
we're,
Bills last week was real impressive. So,
I mean, we're also going to look at their future schedule here: Minnesota, Jets, Carolina, Chicago, Green Bay. Like, there's a lot of winnable games in
yeah.
that bunch there. So don't look now, but the Lions could be interesting.
And hey, they're in upset territory because the Minnesota Vikings are playing them in Detroit,
Yeah,
from what I remember of our
yeah, and I'm
schedule.
pretty sure Minnesota's claimed the division already,
Wait a
right?
second. Did
Don't tell me.
did Tony Pollard just get another touchdown?
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Did he?
No, I only see one. I only see one.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I just got a notification. No, and it's the Colts are driving right now. I just got a notification on my phone
Ryan,
that
don't
Tony
do
Pollard got a touchdown, and I'm
Ryan,
like,
stop it. Don't do this to me.
I'm I'm watching the game right now. They don't even have the ball. Like, what the heck?
How?
So my phone is a little off, but yeah. So
The only thing I wanted,
DeAndre, so go ahead.
I was going to say, one person we haven't talked about, he just got activated for his first game. Is Jamison Williams.
And got one target.
I understand one target. Obviously, it's his first game back. Not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
very
he's probably not gonna get used
not much,
very
but
much.
who like this is where I go with the Lions. Who knows? But if he does enough to surprise people this year, next year's going to get really fun.
Yeah, for sure. Like and that's when I'm a little. It makes me a little queasy being an Amon Ra owner. You know,
Well, just
because it's
think of it
I
this
don't
way:
know what
if
it's
we're
gonna
going
be
to do a
like.
timeshare at running back, and literally with like Amon Ra still had 36 points today.
Yeah,
The other receiver was DJ Chark, who had 15. So I think
that's
this
true.
offense can fit with another receiver, especially since Hawkinson's out. So obviously you're not going to
True.
go
Yeah,
with Hawkinson out. That opens the door.
that's a very different situation. So I get that. I get it. I just it makes me queasy because
Yeah,
what if JMO comes in and takes over the passing work on that offense? And
I don't.
then
I don't know
you
whether he'll take over
it's gonna
because
then
um,
Amon Ra is gonna struggle.
well, because Amon Ra is a chain mover. Like at his core,
Yeah.
he's a chain mover. and that's so valuable that I don't think he'll actually lose it. Like his
Yeah.
role is still there. Now, if it was like, oh, I'm the deep threat, and then you have Jamison Williams, that's when I get scared. But
Yeah. That's
that's
true.
why with Chark and Josh Reynolds is like, well, see ya. You have served your fantasy teams well.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. It's just a concern.
Yeah,
Just a concern. So, uh, I'm on Raw. I mean, 11 receptions, two touchdowns, 114 yards. It's pretty solid performance.
yeah, he's
That
so
was,
good.
he
So
is so good.
Sun God shines again.
Yeah. I'm so glad I picked him up, man. So glad I traded for him.
Sure, you're.
Yeah. I'm sorry it was at your loss, Josh,
Yeah,
but
again,
I'm
I
glad that
still think it's
happened.
a very even trade. It's just coming in at
Yeah.
weird times, which I find to be funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. So let's go over to the Jags. Trevor Lawrence was
He was hurt,
from what I saw, yeah, he got injured one of the last plays or the last play of the first half.
something like that.
But I want to say like he was making surgical throws out there.
I'm
So accurate in
the.
like in needed situations. So
I
it was pretty
mean,
encouraging seeing that.
this is where I think this is why I tell people, especially with rookie players and younger players, and I would say even year 3, year 4, relax. Just because they don't work in year 2 doesn't mean they're not going to work. Like, holy
Yeah,
cow, guys,
yeah.
we need to figure this out here. And it's
Like
just
seeing. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, like, we're finally seeing Trevor Lawrence like kind of produce. Yes, it took a season and a half for it to happen. That's
Yeah,
okay. You have to understand like where they're coming from and understand what they want them to do. And that's and by what them I mean what teams want their players to do. There's a huge transition from college to the NFL. The people who can do it right off the bat, that's freaky. That's outlier. That's the exception. But when it comes to a lot of people, it takes time. So for please, fans of any team, relax. And
yeah,
I mean, there's been a lot of other positions that I mean, not fantasy relevant that I want to say that too, but like it's especially for our fantasies important positions. Relax.
yeah.
It's geez.
Because yeah, because I was a little concerned last year seeing his production. More interceptions than touchdowns,
Yeah,
and it was just it was really it was really hard. It was really hard to
it
like watch
was.
him and keep him on my roster. But I had faith. I kept him because I know the talent level is there. But I also know that that system was real messed up with the previous coach.
Yeah.
But
One
Peterson
Urban
has
Meyer.
done, yeah,
I
Peterson
it
has done
it's
good
just
things.
I mean, you're getting pro level concepts.
Yeah,
You are I mean, you have a much better supporting cast, I would say. Christian Kirk, Zay Jones,
yeah,
Marvin Jones, and then ETN, that chemistry. But you're also having a coach who's willing to let you figure it out. And I think
yeah,
that, and maybe we could talk about Wentz not being the right quarterback for Peterson. And there was a lot of other factors that led to his rise. But
yeah.
with
Let's just
Trevor,
start bashing Wentz.
I'm not going to bash Wentz because there's a lot
That man
more,
has been through so much.
so much. But I think with Trevor Lawrence, it was just like, hey, he's good. We're going to keep him out there. He's going to figure it out. Last week you saw it. I still think even
Yeah,
though they got killed this week,
yeah,
he was still pretty decent. And that's something
for
that
sure.
you wouldn't have said last year.
Yeah, and like you said, that supporting cast was really crucial. Um, Having ETN back, ooh,
Yes,
that put a spark in that offense,
it
and I
it
love it.
really did. Just having a home run threat.
Yeah. Ooh, CD
Score.
Lamb. CD Lamb. He is such a stud.
He
Love it.
sure is. All right,
All
what
right. Yeah,
next
let's
game we're
let's move
going
on.
to?
Sorry, I'm getting caught up in the game right now. So let's move on to the only tie this week. The Giants and the Commanders.
Of
Both
course,
QBs had a pretty decent game. I mean, Heineke and Daniel Jones both showed up, did their job, not super efficiently, but did their job. And I gotta say, Taylor Heineke and Terry McLaurin have chemistry, man.
it's literally the thing that it drove me up a wall when I had Terry McLaurin on my fantasy team. It's like, look, you
Yeah.
know how good he is. Why don't you just use him? And that's where my issue with the whole system under for the Commanders kind of really started. And then Antonio Gibson was another level, but
Hmm.
Heineke is the one quarterback that goes, "You're one on one. I trust you to get that one on one. We're going to make this work." And you just see
Yeah.
Terry just like pay it back tenfold, hundredfold, honestly. And he's
Hmm.
become a really valuable weapon because of that. Like, right, I guess what ranking he's at right now in PPR.
What?
He is wide receiver 16. And I
Really?
yeah, wide receiver 16. And granted, he had a really bad few first weeks, but
Under
now
Carson?
you
Yeah.
see it. Now you see it is just working. Like this is what we thought Terry could be. 8 of 12, 105 and a touchdown.
Yeah. This is what he can. This is that skill level, and that it's with somebody who wants to throw to him.
Yes.
It's I don't even know how to put it. I mean, that may be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But oh, oh, Prescott just got picked off,
Oh dang, I'm behind
and it's in the
then.
red zone.
Oh dang, I'm behind.
They're at the 20-yard line now. Ooh,
Dang.
man,
Okay.
this is gonna be a CD Lamb game. Love it. All right, so Brian Robinson actually put in some good work.
Their O line has just figured it out, honestly.
Yeah, like I was expecting a little more from Antonio Gibson, but it's good seeing Brian Robinson in there. 21 carries and 96 yards. No touchdowns, but
Yeah.
it's good to see, man. I love it. And Jahan Dotson is in there too, in the receiving end of it.
Oh yeah.
5 for 54
Literally
and
every
a
every
touchdown.
player did good. Like
Yep,
Terry had a good game,
showed
Jahan
up.
Dotson had a good game, Curtis Samuel had a good game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Um, yeah, they got to work on those fumbles though. Holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah, it's a
Three
lot.
fumbles in a game.
Yeah, this game
So,
was crazy.
yeah, I didn't get to watch this one that much. I
I
got to
caught it. I
watch some
caught the last
highlights,
bit
but
on Red Zone.
yeah, it was yeah, it was interesting. Um so, on the other side of the ball, guess um who was their leading rusher? The Giants' leading rusher.
It was Daniel no, just kidding.
It was Daniel Jones.
Oh, that's right. He is. I was saying that as a joke, but I totally forgot that he
No,
actually
it was
was.
Daniel Jones. Carried
12.
12 times for 71 yards, and Saquon only had 63 yards.
I mean,
Love
the
it.
big thing about this year is that everyone's going to sell out for Saquon, but the best thing
Yeah.
about Saquon is that he is a freak of nature
Yep.
and will get the job done regardless.
Yeah. And, Saquon still had 5 receptions for 18 yards. I mean, that's not great yardage, but
You'll take.
those PPR points, baby,
Yep.
they
Yep.
add up.
Running
So,
back 6 on the year.
yeah, he's had a pretty consistent. I like to say consistent
Yeah.
because that's exactly what it is. It's he isn't making great numbers, but every week he shows up and you know does what he needs to do. I mean, he makes pretty consistently like 20, what was it, for like 5 weeks in a row he made 24, 25 points,
Yeah,
and that was like
for weeks 1 through 8, his lowest total was 16 points.
yeah. and
That's
and then it
absurd.
went 19-32 against Detroit. He struggled with just 8.5,
But that's
but
his
that's
only
his
bad game.
lowest.
That's his only
Yeah,
bad game.
it's the only bad game all year. He has done great throughout the year, just been so consistent. And the key thing, no injuries, nothing
Yeah,
at all. Now,
which is crazy
knock on
considering his,
wood,
yeah, knock on
right?
wood for sure.
No,
Ooh,
no
CD just
injuries.
took a shot to the ribs.
Oh yeah, you are way behind. That happened like 5 minutes ago.
Hold on. Haha, are we on commercial break? I figured it out.
Yes, we are now.
Oh, okay. I don't know why it wasn't letting me go live.
I was gonna say you are way behind. Okay,
It's the same account.
so that is that is about it for that
I
matchup.
mean, Darius Slayton, maybe
Yeah, yeah.
a good
Slayton.
flex stash.
I mean, Slayton is he is a flex. He is a flex. So,
Yeah. Next game.
all right. Our next game is the Titans.
Ooh,
This is the
this game
Titans
was over pretty
Philly game.
quickly.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna let you go ahead and take this.
All right, so let's start off with here. Don't feel bad that Miles Sanders had a bad game. Hurts just had an even better game. Hurts 28 of 39 for 383, and then obviously didn't he only had a few carries for a rushing touchdown, but he was excellent today. On the receiver side of things, boy, I should have started Devontae Smith. Luckily, I'm going to win in that matchup, but Devontae Smith literally started off. He was 5 of 8 for 102 and a touchdown. And if you can get that out of Devontae Smith every time, sign me up. It's going to be a good
No
day.
joke.
AJ Brown, the revenge game, and it was sweet.
And he
8 of
did it.
10 for
He got his
119
revenge.
and 2. It was wonderful.
And that second touchdown was fantastic.
That was
He was
hilarious.
all alone. He
Yeah,
just
because he
walked into the
literally
end zone.
trucked the corner
Yeah.
because he fell.
Well, he kicked. What happened was he kicked him in the nards, man.
Was that what
He
happened?
kneed him in the nards as he was like going past him. He like lifted his knee to like take the step, and the dude was in his way and just he kicked him right in the nuts.
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It was actually
But
kind of funny watching
I
that.
will say the
It's
big
like, ooh,
thing that is kind of crazy about this, the Eagles had 6 sacks.
6 sacks.
Yeah, they had
Really?
6. And I mean
Holy
they
cow.
shut down Derrick Henry. 11 carries, 30 yards. That was it.
Wow.
Man,
That's crazy.
I'm leaning more on the Ethan side that we might be seeing the end of Derrick Henry, which sucks because I love Derrick Henry. But it's
See, I don't think so. I don't think it's the end. I think it's the down slope, but I don't think it's the end.
yeah. Well,
I think he's still going to be very effective. He's just not going to be as punishing
yeah. Well,
as he used to be.
I think if Tennessee doesn't get another, if they don't get more offensive help,
Yeah. They need
then I
they
would
need
say,
Traylon Burks to actually show up,
well, he
which
got
he
hurt.
did.
He started off great, just
He
got
took a
hurt.
nasty shot.
Yeah.
So, uh-oh.
Am I
Okay.
live? Am I
Never mind.
live this
Never
time?
mind. You're good. You're
Okay,
good.
cool.
I just saw an update on Tua. So,
Oh, the two
yeah, they said he could have come back today.
two.
Could have come back into the game. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah, at the very end,
with the
yeah.
ankle
That
injury,
game was
but
over.
he
That
chose
game was
not to.
over. So
Yeah,
that's why I didn't put much stock into it.
yeah.
Um,
So, but Traylon Burks took a major shot, and we'll see like how he goes through concussion protocol. But yeah, that one shot was a 25-yard touchdown, and he got rocked right at the
Yeah,
end of it. But he managed to hold on to the ball.
which is
They think
crazy.
he was knocked out and still holding on to the ball. Like he was laying on the ground. He took the shot and then was laying on the ground holding on to the football. Just
Ref is
like
like,
that. I
you,
was like, dang, that guy's like out right now.
you, you got hands.
He
And
got hands. He's got that stickum on his hands.
oh,
He's
like
just
Little
sitting there.
Giants.
Yeah. Got that stickum on his hands.
Traylon Burks was the receiver in Little Giants. I do want to bring up something very sneaky, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a tight end for the Tennessee Titans, Chig Okonkwo.
Whoa.
He has quietly since week 9, 6 points, 6 points, 4 points, 6 points, 11 points.
Mm,
And considering the next few games,
interesting.
Jacksonville, Chargers, Houston, Dallas, Jacksonville. I think
Interesting.
if you're struggling with tight end, you know tight end's a major need. Pick up
You
Okonkwo.
could pick him up. Yeah.
I th-
He could be a nice
I think he
salve for you.
yeah, because we've been looking for a fantasy tight end savior outside of Kelsey. I would say for anyone who's been struggling, especially if you dealt with Kyle Pitts, look at this guy.
Yeah, I would too. I mean, he could end up being pretty effective in playoffs for you if you're in need of a tight end.
If you're in need of a
You know,
spot start for sure.
yeah, a streaming candidate. So
Yeah.
that's it for the Titans and the
Yep.
Eagles. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I don't.
All right. All right. So we are moving on to our next matchup, which will end up being a rant. So I'm going to go ahead and get it over with. Josh, why don't you introduce the Ravens Broncos game?
All right. So the Ravens Broncos game. Ravens win 10-9. It was about as 2000 mid 2000s Ravens as you could ever imagine it being. Honestly, I have to give credit to both defenses. They played their hearts out. It was just Tyler Huntley pulled off a 91-yard touchdown drive at the very end. And that's it. But that's so I will only rant because I love Lamar Jackson. I have him in 2 of my leagues, and obviously massive Ravens fan. But I do want to say a lot of the issues that are stemming with this offense and to most likely Greg offensive coordinator Greg Roman's exit, whether it's Stanford, whether he just gets straight up fired. I
Yeah.
do think the execution on the field has been awful. There's a lot of times where, again, what have I always said about coaching? If you can find the solution on the field, then it's execution. If you can't find one on the field, then it's coaching. And
Mm-hmm.
so much of this year, yes, it's looked really bad for the Ravens offense, but their solutions on the field. It's been an execution issue this year. And for Lamar to get hurt, it's a reluctance to lose battles to win wars. And that is something where if you want to say it's fireable for Greg Roman because Lamar hasn't really developed, I think you have a fair argument there. But right now, Lamar is developing bad habits to where he can't be trusted as a fantasy QB1 anymore. Like he'll have his spike games, but right now, he's QB5, but I can see him being QB13 by the end of the year because not only does he get hurt this game, but the issue of the matter is just it's kind of infuriating for me to say this. It almost looks like as if he's just not taking what the defense is giving him.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to do a deeper dive into it because I feel like it's just one like switch, and that's all it takes. Like Lamar has been this close to being QB1 for 2 straight years if he could only do that. And unfortunately, a lot of the Ravens fan base has turned on Greg Roman. And I think, again, Ravens fans being almost intolerable is just, he's been the problem this entire time. It's the scheme. It's the scheme. You can download his playbook. It's not simple. It's complex. It's NFL level complex. You
Yeah.
can even make an argument it's too complex, and having younger receivers, it just doesn't work. But what I'm not going to sit here and allow is for people to just simply say that it was the scheme's fault and that's it. I will not allow that to happen. Yes, you can say it's part of the problem, but there's been a clear execution problem. And I don't know what's going to have to happen. Now, personally, considering who Lamar is, how his play type, his play style is on the field, I would love to see Frank Reich be the next offensive coordinator for the Ravens. But my goodness, I'm not going to let people sit here and slander Greg Roman because they think he's the only problem to this offense. And that's my rant.
All right. Legitimate concerns voiced.
Yes.
And we will see how people feel about that.
Yep.
I see it. I see it. I think there needs to be some changes done. But yeah, I I'll just let what Josh said speak for him. So, um, Huntley went 27 for 32. I mean, that was pretty good alone. But
Yeah.
then he had 10 carries on the ground for 41 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. The rushing
So,
touchdown. The interception was
you
really
know,
bad, but definitely
yeah,
salvaged it at the end with the rushing touchdown.
yeah. And on the other side of the ball, Russell Wilson looked as awful as ever.
Yep. Which,
QB
funny
rating of
enough,
65.
what's hilarious about this is that he actually looked kind of decent. Like when there were shots to be had, he took the shots and he was getting
Yeah.
chunk plays. Like Dulcich had a chunk play, Jerry Judy had a chunk play, and I think actually Dulcich may have had two. And it's just I find the great irony that he might be playing decent now, but everyone else is just done, so it just looks bad. Like Cortland Sutton missed the game. He wasn't out, but he definitely I think got hurt in the middle of it. Tim
Yeah,
Patrick
he only
obviously
had
out for the
one
year.
target.
Hamler has
But
done basically absolutely nothing.
yeah.
And now Latavius
Anywho,
Murray.
yeah, Latavius Murray actually did pretty well. I mean, he had 47 yards on the ground. I mean, his per carry did not do well. Like he didn't do well. But he did have 4 receptions for 14 yards, which was, I mean, it's not great, but it was passable in
It,
that offense.
I mean, especially if you probably have him as a flex. So I think it's very solid.
And that's exactly what I had him in as. He was a solid flex. But yeah, Greg Dulcich.
Ooh, buddy.
I
Welcome
he's a
back.
favorite. He's a favorite of Russell Wilson's.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Very much so. 6 receptions, 8 targets, more than double what everyone else on the team had.
Yeah.
But he had 8 targets, 6 receptions, and 85 yards.
Yeah,
Out of
he was
everyone on
really
that
he
team,
was really good. Like I
out of
think
everyone
next
on that
year,
team, he was startable.
yeah, next year you can be very excited about Dulcich because I think he's kind of what we everyone imagined Noah Fant would be,
Yeah.
but I think Dulcich is just a bit better as a route runner.
Mm-hmm. He did a real good job, and I'm really encouraged by his production over these last like what 6 weeks.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
only one week where
he's
he
doing
was
really
bad
well.
within that stretch, but oh yeah, it was against Tennessee, but it's Tennessee.
Yeah, but he's averaged. Yeah, exactly. He's averaged 5 targets, round 5 targets, 5 6. So that's awesome to see. Mandrews was their leading receiver. Um,
Yeah.
Surprisingly, with 53 yards, he spread the ball around a
I mean,
lot.
yeah, they
Uh,
spread.
so
If there's anything that I'm not saying Tyler Huntley's better than Lamar Jackson, don't hear that at all because that's not what
he
I'm
is.
saying.
He is.
See, Ryan's causing trouble already.
Yep.
But
Said
if
it was
there's
Lamar
anything
Jackson.
that Huntley does a little bit better, it's all the timing routes underneath. Then that's just been Tyler Huntley's game and just him distributing and spreading the ball around. I think that's why Mark Andrews didn't have the greatest of games, still led the team in targets. So make no mistake, he's still option one. And you've seen Mark Andrews do really good with Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
So that doesn't concern me at all either.
Okay. That's about it
Yeah,
for
that's
that matchup. I'm done with that.
yeah.
Now let's get on to the real fun matchup.
Jim
One where
Harbaugh
the
staying at Michigan, if anyone's wondering.
oh yeah, I saw that press statement came out. Um,
Yeah, let's talk about this
by the
next
way,
game.
the defense outscored the opposing offense. The Browns defense just showed up to play today, and they said, "You know what, Watson? We're gonna take this revenge for you, and we're gonna let
Because
you sit
Deshaun
back
Watson
on your
certainly
hiney and
didn't
not
do
do
it.
anything." So yes, the Browns defense took it upon themselves to take the revenge for Watson, and they did. 3 touchdowns in total, one punt return for how long? How long was the punt return?
I'll figure it out. I think it was 48.
Punt return. Oh, it was a 80. Oh no. 76-yard touchdown.
Joy.
76-yard
Joy.
touchdown.
I am going to
Ah,
lose because
that's
of a
crazy.
defense. This is hilarious.
And then Tony Fields, uh, I guess one of their
Yeah, one of the linebackers, he had a
yeah, one of their
fumble,
linebackers. He
three
had an
touch.
interception and a
Oh,
16-yard touchdown. So
good grief, man.
and yeah, so that whole shebang was just awesome. Nick Chubb, 80 yards, 17 carries. It
It's a
was
pretty
all
solid
right. It was
game.
good.
Yeah,
I
it
was
was
expecting
solid.
at least a touchdown against this pretty squishy Texans defense, but he I don't know, the Texans defense has been pretty solid the last
They
two,
well,
3 games against the run.
I wouldn't say that because
I,
because a
I
lot in
mean,
the last 2 or 3 games, the game's been over by second quarter. And so it's just been conservative play calling. So it looks good, but it really isn't good.
yeah, that's true.
So that's why it's to me that's fool's gold.
Yeah.
Like
But
this
they've
game was
still
over
held up
because
pretty
of
well.
three defense and special teams touchdowns.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they took advantage
yeah,
of some holes in the Texans offense and
the many
just
holes in it.
quite literally ran with it.
Yeah,
So,
Damian Pierce had a good game, which
yeah.
that's encouraging because it was getting nervous out here for 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, he did pretty well. Did pretty well. He got 3 receptions and 22 yards on top of 73 yards on 18 carries. So that's pretty good. I you want to see a touchdown at least, but you can't get those all the time, especially in
Yeah,
this Houston Texans
but
offense. But
my question to you is why on earth would you start a quarterback who hasn't played in a year and a half over Justin Fields?
all
Why?
right, okay. So for those of you that are listening, I did that. Um, I did it because I wanted, uh, I don't know, I wanted to see a revenge game, and I wanted to see Watson actually
What
show up
revenge
and
is
do
there to
stuff.
be
Hold on,
had?
hold on, hold on. For them trading him, I know it's his fault, but still. So I was also concerned about Fields. He was injured last week, um, and he's kind of been struggling with an injury. So I didn't think that he would be 100%. I wasn't banking on it. And, I was just really thinking about it's a divisional matchup. It's, I don't like it. I don't like the situation. Um, and I don't want me to start him and then go, oh crap, he's out in the first quarter with an injury. Great. He re-aggravated whatever happened to him, and he's not going to play anymore. So I was looking at Watson and going, dang, he's going up against the Houston Texans, who are 1-10 and are on 1-9 and are absolute dog crap against the pass. And go, okay, cool. Let's start Deshaun Watson. He's going to have a little fire in him. He's going to shake off some of the rust, but he's going to have to shake off some of the rust. But he's playing against a team that is absolute dog doo doo. So that's what I was thinking. And yeah, I may have been wrong to the naked eye, but I had my reasons. So
Yeah, for me, my rule of thumb is if there's been a massive extended length of time, I don't play the person the first couple of weeks. So that's why
yeah.
as soon as you asked the question in our group chat, I was like, Fields, Fields, Fields.
And see, next week I'm going to be second guessing that. I won't be putting in Watson for obvious reasons. I want him to prove to me now that he can do it.
Yeah.
I'll be putting in Fields, but I don't know. I was just a little wary of the Fields injury, and I know they gave him the all's clear, and they said he was going to play, but I was still like, I don't know. It may be
It's just nervous.
exactly, and that's why I kept Watson in. So I'll definitely be taking Watson out and putting in Fields next week. But yeah, so that's about it for this. No, I wanted to actually talk about Nico Collins. 10
Nico
targets, only 3 receptions, but 10 targets.
Nico Collins is definitely good
Is
old
he wide
Nico.
receiver one? Is he wide receiver one?
For this team, absolutely.
Gotcha. So, do you think he's going to be wide receiver one next year?
No.
Okay. Do you think they get rid of Cooks?
Yes, I think Cooks is definitely going to want out of there. To me, I think Cooks is a Ravens. Look at him, please.
Okay.
Because I definitely think the Ravens can't afford to screw up receiver like they have been the last couple of years. So I definitely think Cooks is gone. Cooks definitely wants to contend. And then Houston's in an interesting spot. They have the Browns pick, they have their own pick. Let's
Yeah.
see what happens. It's a really good year for like skill position players and defensive players. So I kind of am interested to see which one they go for.
That
Because
would
they have a
be,
lot of
yeah, that'll be
issues.
interesting. They have a lot of issues, a lot of holes, and uh,
Yeah.
that whole team is just a headache from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So
A
the
lot of
one
work's
bright
going to have
spot
to
that they
get
have
done.
is Pierce.
Yeah.
So
And they have a
um
lot of cap space next year, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
yeah, I believe so. Well, because they don't have any stars on their team.
Yeah.
So I'd say let's just go on to our next matchup.
Yeah. The
What
one
else is
I
out
want to
there?
get your thinking on is one
Okay.
New York Jets versus the Minnesota Vikings,
Oh.
which ended up being a lot closer than what it originally showed.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me actually pull up because I didn't get to see the stats for this.
So,
Um,
you want me to start with the Jets or the Vikings first? Because I have the stats
you
up
go
here.
ahead and give your evaluation. I'm gonna look over the stats
Well,
before I
this
talk.
game was really ugly until the Jets figured things out. Like, if I
Mhm.
hold on, let me pull up the box score for this game because
Well, it
lit
was in the second quarter, it was 20-6
yeah,
through
exactly.
halftime. Well, through the fourth quarter, pretty much.
Yeah, like going into the fourth quarter was 20-6, and then the Jets basically made it the game until Minnesota kind of ended things.
Yeah, they said,
I
"Nah,
think
ain't
we
gonna
get
happen."
into the I would love to see the analytics that come out for Mike White's game because I wasn't able to see all of this because I was too busy having a meltdown
Mhm.
over the Ravens game. Yes, he threw a lot, but I mean, Jets were kind of getting carved up by Madison and Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, they
And
both had real good games.
yeah, well, and Madison was solid, but I'm pretty sure he played more than what I'm seeing right now. But Dalvin Cook, really good game. I mean Jefferson did his thing, but it's Jefferson, obviously. But I mean, the thing is with Mike White, the Jets can throw themselves back into it. And I think without a doubt, especially just based on how the subtle hints that they've kind of shown, I think Zach Wilson might actually be cooked. And I think
Mm,
they're either going to get a veteran quarterback next year, or they're going to be like, depending on how Mike White does, it's going to be Mike White. I think Wilson might actually be done, which stinks because
interesting.
he to me is the whole rant about relax. A lot of it's on Wilson, and Ethan and I have basically talked about it ad nauseum what we think went wrong
Yeah.
for them. And I think with the Jets, once they made Mike White the starter, there's no going back. They will be I will call them naive if they're like, all right, Zach Wilson, you're back out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that happens, to be honest with you, because the subtle hints some of the team, like some of the players on the team, have done to just kind of what we've seen on the field, it just makes me think that like they just want Zach Wilson out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's where they're trending
Yeah,
is just punting him.
yeah, I
And
think so
they're going to
too.
go after a quarterback in this next draft, more than likely. So,
Maybe I could also see a veteran. I mean, this is where I think Jimmy G is a legit possibility next year, just because he would know the
yeah,
system and
potentially.
he's been there before. And I think with the Jets, you have a very young team that's most likely going to make the playoffs this year. So let's see how it works out, because they're here, like they're a contender about 2 years earlier than they thought.
Yeah. Yeah. They've
Yeah,
been in a very long rebuild too.
very
So,
long rebuild. It's been a while.
yeah.
Zonovan Knight is someone I do want to bring up though. 15 carries,
Somebody,
90 yards.
yeah. He ran really solidly, but I mean, you take away that 148-yard run,
We're looking
and
at
he's
what?
left with 42 yards,
Yeah, 14 for
I think.
42, which is not very
40,
good.
14 for 42. So it was just that 148-yard run that pretty much made him look good,
Yeah, that's
like
roughly like
very
3 yards
good.
a carry, basically.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
on the other side, well, not the other side, but the other as a receiver, Garrett
Yeah,
Wilson. My goodness,
he's legit.
yeah,
He
he is the
is
true number
legit.
one. Um,
He is.
Unfortunately, Elijah Moore, I do want to say, is very interesting. He got 6 targets this game. I don't know how he's fitting with it. Obviously, he is a fan of Mike White over Zach Wilson, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
I think all of them are.
yeah, by the looks of it. But Corey Davis had 10 targets. Garrett Wilson had 15. Braxton Berrios had 3.
Yeah.
And then
See,
Conklin
oh,
had
go ahead.
7 targets. Like, granted, Mike Williams threw the ball 57 times, but I think with the next few games, we're talking about that situation again, because next few games,
Yeah,
Buffalo, Detroit, Jacksonville, Seattle, and Miami.
that's a yeah, that's a
Yeah.
lineup.
Yeah, that is quite the lineup. So this is where things get interesting.
Yeah. So all of this combined begs the question: what is this team going to look like next year when Brees Hall get comes back?
I think they're going to be way more balanced next year, but it
Yeah,
really depends on who the quarterback is. If they want to stick with Zach, I think Brees Hall does become an important factor, because then what they'll
yeah,
do is they'll run the ball a lot. Sorry, as I hit my camera, they'll run the ball a lot, and they'll just like Zach Wilson make 4 or 5 throws. We'll win the game. Our defense is legit. Let's go. However, and I definitely think the Jets are feeling this, is we need to be able to win besides that. Like, we're going to
Yeah.
face teams that can stop the run. That I think that's why Mike White is so appealing, because the run game will always be there.
Hmm.
It's, can we throw ourselves back into it? And if Mike White can prove that, I don't see a way Zach Wilson gets back onto the field. That's why I like Jimmy G makes sense, honestly. And just another veteran. Jacoby Brissett, I would say, would be sneaky good in this situation if they just want to punt on quarterback.
Hmm.
Because the Jets are really good way earlier than they thought, and now it's like, okay, are we going to stick to the course, or are we going to just put all our chips in the table because we're young and we're ready to do this thing?
Well, and I think they're in a good situation to go after somebody like a
Oh yeah, for
quarterback
sure.
to set him up for success over the next 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I'm gonna.
but
Oh, yeah.
yeah, we can let's go over and talk about the Vikings. Dalvin Cook, I think they figured out that. Well, I mean, they did their homework. Is what pretty much what I want to say. They did their
Yeah.
homework because throwing against Sauce and that secondary, it's not the best move. Because Sauce Gardner has just turned into a crazy man
Dude, Sauce is a
in that
top five
secondary.
corner.
He is. He was a pick for them. My
Yeah.
gosh. Like he was solid pick
That's,
in last year's
I mean,
draft.
when you have a top five pick, you need to hit it out the park. And I think they
Yeah,
certainly have.
they did. They definitely did. And Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison kind of took it upon them to run and just run all over the Jets. And they did. 86 yards and 14 yards. Both of them had a touchdown each. And then Justin Jefferson had that sideline snag of a touchdown. Um, Only 45 yards though.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
surprised,
I mean,
but
it was, they said, Sauce, you see Justin Jefferson over there? Get
yeah.
him.
But I mean, he still had that touchdown. So fantasy managers, you can't really complain. He
Yeah.
he had 17 points. That's respectable. I mean, it's not great numbers, but it's enough. But
Well, it's not great numbers to Justin Jefferson's
for
level.
Justin Jefferson, yeah,
But
exactly.
man, if like Curtis Samuel got that, I would be celebrating.
That's true. That's true.
Oh,
But for Justin Jefferson, eh.
I forgot to tell
Um,
you, Ryan, in my redraft league, I finally dropped Curtis Samuel.
oh, you poor man.
Well,
Don't you know as soon as you drop him, he
oh
turns
yeah,
into a
no,
fantasy stud.
I have that curse.
He's a waiver wire stud. As soon as you drop Curtis Samuel or he's not in your lineup, he ends up getting like 25 points. But then the next week, when you put him in your lineup,
He'll
he
get
goes and
5.
drops an egg and it's like
Yes.
4 or 5 points and
It's
that's it.
painful. It's
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh,
painful.
it's terribly painful, but that's how it is. So
Yeah, that is
I've
how
just
it
learned,
is.
I've just accepted that, and that's why I traded him to my dad.
And it's like, I'm
Oh,
not playing this
yeah. It
game.
was
You
like,
can,
I
however.
have washed my hands of you. You are now his
That
man.
was me and DJ
So,
Moore, honestly.
oh man.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and move on to our next matchup. As much as I love talking about the Vikings, um, Seahawks versus the Rams.
This game was a lot closer than I imagined.
Gino's the man. That's all I
Gino
have to
is,
say.
yeah, go Gino,
Gino is
man.
the man.
And
Like, who
what's,
would have thought that they
yeah,
had him? They had their starting quarterback on the bench this whole time, just chilling.
yeah,
And all it took was this massive trade to get their starting quarterback out of there so that Gino could come in and just run this team like a freaking mob
dude.
boss.
And what's crazy, I don't think DK or Tyler Lockett actually missed a beat.
No,
Like, if
they
you
did
look at the
not.
stats, Lockett 9 of 12, 128 and 1. DK 8 of 8, 127 and 1. It like they literally haven't missed a beat. They were getting these stats with Russell Wilson, and
Well,
now
see, the problem is Lockett was never getting these stats. Lockett was not consistent. He was like, I'm looking at his last year. You know, he had flashy games of like
yeah,
36 points, 30, 28. But then in between all of those, 6 points, 5 points,
he
three
would just fall
points.
off a cliff.
Exactly. So he was a roller coaster, constantly
Yeah,
doing this every week. And now with Gino, he's constantly like he's been under 10 points. I'd say under about 12 points twice this whole year.
I see.
Twice.
Yeah,
That's a constant, that's a flex play like I would have never seen him.
yeah,
I've
exactly
never
a
seen
flex.
Tyler Lockett do something like that, and I love it.
And we were all
He's
worried
like
for
the Hunter Renfro from last year.
exactly, and we were
So
all worried about DK, but DK yeah, he's had a couple good. He has a couple more bad games this year, but
yeah,
when it's been like turning it on, like since week 8, 17, 14, 13, by week 20
yeah,
and 29, like he's
yeah,
becoming the person we think he can be.
yep. And they're really getting into a groove now. Honestly, like I'm concerned, like because I think the Vikings are playing them, don't they? Let's see,
I
let's
will
see, let's
check.
see, let's see, let's see, let's see. No, no,
No, they're not.
okay, good. No, they have Carolina, San Francisco, KC, the Jets, and
They
the
have
Rams.
3 really bad games, which is
Yeah,
right all during playoff weeks, unfortunately. San
yeah,
Francisco, KC, and the
unfortunately.
Jets.
Ugh.
And after what San Francisco just did today.
KC
Ooh.
and the Jets. Okay, so a standout in this game for me, but besides Lockett and Metcalf, they both like showed up and showed out. But Cam Akers,
Yeah.
Cam Akers, 17 carries for 60 yards and two
Two.
touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 touchdowns help, but like he's
I
been the
mean,
main guy.
dude, 2 months ago, we were saying Cam Akers was droppable.
Yeah.
Like you can just get rid of him. Just like drop him. Don't even worry about him. He'll never play on another team. I mean, we were saying all of this crap about him. And then all of a sudden it's like him and the Rams kiss and make up, and now all of a sudden he's their starting running back
Yeah.
and is actually producing. So that's just fantasy football confuses me
Yeah. It's
sometimes.
confusing. And but also I would
Well,
say that
real football confuses me.
the 60 yards, I'm just like, I mean, if his O line was just an ounce better, we're talking a potentially 100-yard game.
Yeah, it definitely could have been. Definitely could have been. And I mean, that's with John Wolford at
Who,
quarterback.
based on the sound of it, looks like he's going to be the starter for the rest of the year.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
I think
Stafford's out.
McVay's, yeah, it's a spinal cord contusion, is what McVay's
Ooh,
like. He is hurt.
yikes.
Yeah,
Yikes.
he is in pain.
That's not good.
So the Rams without Cooper Kupp, without Allen Robinson, without Matthew Stafford, if there is anybody to play, it's Cam Akers. And
Yeah, surprisingly, Cam Akers.
yeah, but
And that's
I
about
mean,
it
yeah,
for
that's
me.
about it
I
for this
mean,
game.
they
I
didn't really
want
have anything on the receiving end of it.
no, and they won't for the year.
Yeah.
So do you okay? So do you want to get which game you want to go to next? We have 3 left.
Let's go to the Dolphins Niners game.
Okay, this game was something
Yeah.
because there's a lot we have to talk about here.
Yes.
The first being the 49. I have no idea what the 49ers are going to do. Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt basically first quarter,
Mhm.
gets carded, which is like, okay, that's not good. News eventually comes out, he broke his foot, he's out for the year.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're without Trey Lance, you're without your backup. In comes in Brock Purdy,
They're
does a pretty
ugh.
solid job.
Yeah, he did. He did.
The
Solid.
thing is this team's built to win now. So what happens here?
And I mean, it's the trade deadline's passed.
Yeah,
You cannot do anything at this point.
I mean, you would have to sign somebody, but who? Like, who would you sign that like knows the system?
Oh no. I'm gonna say his name.
Don't do it.
I'm gonna say his name.
Why would you do it?
Colin Kaepernick.
Well, if it if the Ravens were
They're not
screwed,
gonna call Colin
they're
Kaepernick.
not going to call Colin Kaepernick, but in a Greg Roman scheme possibly. But
Oh my
you need to find someone that is that has knowledge of the Shanahan scheme. If
god. Hmm.
Because right now, like San Francisco, they're 8-4. Every position is loaded but quarterback because the quarterbacks just have the worst luck this year. Running backs, you
Yeah.
basically have CMC, you got Jordan Mason, you got Juszczyk, you got Debo,
Yeah.
essentially. Wide receivers, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Jawan Jennings, Danny Gray. Like, and then the defense is as loaded as any defense in the league.
So my question is, do they run with Brock Purdy, but they have kind of like a wildcat scheme with Debo and CMC and Ayuk? Like they're all rushing
I
threats.
I don't know
And
what you
then
do.
because like he's Shanahan's got to get real
This may
real
be
sneaky with it if he
I
wants to continue to win.
I thought last year may have been Shanahan's best coaching effort. He's gonna for San Francisco to be a contender, he's gonna have to top what he did last year.
Yeah.
So wide back, it's like heck,
He's
I
gonna
could
have to
see him
get
bring
Debo
out the triple.
Samuel.
I could see him bring out the triple option at this point.
Yeah.
Like anything's on the table.
He's gonna have to bring up uh Debo again
Which I want to talk
and
about. I do
use
want to talk
him.
about Debo because
Yeah.
10 targets, it surprised me. And
Yeah.
because it was Brock Purdy for most of the game, but the 4 carries for 5 yards. And I'm going, okay, what are we gonna do here? Because
Yeah.
it's I don't know where you put Debo now.
Yeah.
Because essentially Debo and CMC are the same position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're gonna have to rely on those two. So like as much as I mean, I'm gonna throw Debo in my lineup regardless. And it's because you can't trust your quarterback to distribute it all out on the field. Like Brock Purdy is very young. This is going to be
Yeah.
his first start next week.
Yeah.
Like
But
let's
they cannot lean on CMC too much because at that point it mm,
well
it could get dangerous
that's
for
why I
him.
love the CMC trade though. It's just for this team. You have Debo, you have Ayuk, you have CMC.
Yeah.
No one has to be the one guy.
Yeah.
And so that's where I think, man, it's going to get super creative to see what Kyle Shanahan does. Because if there's
Mm-hmm.
any coach that can pull this off, it's Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he could. He has to get very inventive and very sneaky with how he does things. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, but I think it's all but up for
Yeah,
Debo and
yeah,
CMC and
yeah.
Ayuk. I
Even
think
with the quarterback
the only
pay,
one that may, yeah, the only one that may
it's Kittle.
take the hit is Kittle.
Yeah,
I think he doesn't seem to be targeting tight end very much. So
not much. But I think
yeah,
his targets go down for sure. It's going to be an obvious like play action rollout situations.
yeah.
Um,
Jordan Mason actually, I mean, he got a couple of carries. Actually did pretty well. Averaged 6.4 yards per carry.
yeah, he
So
did good. Yeah,
it's
he
interesting.
had a nice burst. I think he'll still like how they use him today is how they'll use him for the year, is my
Yeah.
thinking. I do think Debo's carries go up though.
Yeah. Okay. So uh Waddle on the other end of the ball,
Yeah, that was a
other side
yikes.
of the ball.
But
Waddle was a yikes day, one reception for 9 yards, and that's it
San
on five
Francisco's defense
targets.
was on fire, and the only person that could do anything was Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, and I mean he equaled up to a little over, well, not just about half of the total yards in the passing game
Yeah,
and a touchdown. And then Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson combined for eight carries, and that's it.
8 carries
So
for
their run
33
game was,
yards.
yeah, their
Yeah,
run game was
yeah,
almost non-existent.
I still think the crazy thing about this is that even though this you think, oh, Miami got exposed, there's still so much talent on the field. It doesn't matter. It's just you have to have a such a freak defense like San Francisco for you to stop them.
Yeah, for sure. You, yeah, you really do, and that defense is just so solid, man. Every level is just talent filled. So they did a great job of shutting down Miami.
Yeah, they really
They
did.
really
It
did.
was an incredible matchup, and the defense ends with a really good game as well.
Yeah. So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it for me. So let's go ahead and move on to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cincinnati Bengals.
don't know what it is. Cincinnati just has Kansas City's number.
Yeah. And you know what? This is the first time ever that someone has beat Patrick Mahomes 3 times, let alone 3 times in a row.
Yeah, not even Brady has done it.
Yep. So that is crazy. That is crazy.
First
Like,
person I want to,
Patrick Mahomes is
yeah,
real good, but seems like Burrow's got his number.
yeah.
So
And Burrow had one heck of a day today, honestly.
yeah, he did.
I think he
Loved
was
it.
super decisive, aggressive,
Hmm.
kept them on their toes. He was super good.
And he used
So
his legs
yeah,
too.
he did use his legs. And like I just love those little wrinkles. Like it's like, okay, okay, I see. And this, I mean, again, not I'm still not the biggest fan of Zach Taylor's offense, but it's clicking right now, and you have to give him credit for
Yeah.
it. Like they're and a lot of that goes to the run game. And I think whether it's Joe Mixon or Samaje P. Ryan, the fact that they can run the ball makes them pretty dangerous.
Yeah. Well, in this game, they got back their number one offensive weapon
Who is
in Jamar
pretty
Chase.
good.
Yeah, 97 yards on 7 receptions, 8 targets. He was solid. He was solid. I think he's going to return to wide receiver one numbers.
Oh yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah, KC tried their hardest to smother him as much as possible.
What's
Did not
crazy
work.
is that he's missed five. Jamar Chase has missed 5 weeks. Is still
Yep.
the wide receiver 19.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty absurd.
It's awesome. It's really encouraging for me having him on my team. Especially getting ready to go into the playoffs. I was really concerned about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. No.
So no, but I was really concerned about his production, how it would look, and even if he puts up these numbers, 17 points, that's fine with me. Do it.
Yeah. Update, you're at
So,
206 right now.
all right. I
Good.
think I think our record is like 217,
Yeah, something like that. So you are 11
217,
points
27,
away.
something like that.
And I really hope that the Colts defense come through for me. But I
Yeah.
mean, besides Jamar Chase and Majay P. Ryan, I would even I mean, I think the big shocker here is Pacheco. 14 carries, 66 yards, and then touchdown. Great numbers. And then 2 catches for 16 yards. So
Yeah.
he had a really good day. He's the clear number one of this team. The shocker to me, however, is Travis Kelsey. Only ends up with about 6 points. He was 4 to 6 for 56. The rare fumble. It was just not his day today.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
not. Yeah, just not his
It was
day.
not it was not his day. No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah, but that was a really fun game to watch, though. I don't know what
Yeah, the
Cincy's
Chiefs game.
defense. Yeah, I don't know what Cincy's
Yeah.
defense does, but they just make it happen. We have one more game to talk about, and it is
Sorry, I'm a
the
little distracted right now. I'm
oh, don't tell
looking
me
at the
don't tell me Tony
JT.
Pollar's.
Nah, JT just had a good run
Oh, okay, good.
and
That's
then
what I need to
fumbled
hear. No more Tony Pollard or CD for the rest of the podcast, I would say.
and then fumbled.
Dang it.
But they got it back. So
Okay, that's good. That's
taking
good.
you on a roller coaster, Josh.
Yeah,
Taking you on a
no,
roller coaster.
I don't like this roller
An
coaster.
emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
that's the title of
Yeah,
this
let's
episode for me. But the last game we
emotional
have
roller
here,
coaster.
the Las Vegas Raiders going up against Los Angeles Chargers, and the Raiders win
This was a
27-20.
good
Real
game, man.
I
This was a
loved
good
watching this game.
game.
It was
It was
so
pretty
good.
much Justin Herbert versus Josh Jacobs and Derek Carr.
And
Like
Devontae Adams.
Eckler wasn't really. I mean, he was evident in the passing game,
They shut down Keenan Allen showed
but
up, but they had to shut down Eckler to do that.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. But like Josh Jacobs, 26 carries, 144 yards, and a touchdown. That man
Yeah,
is turning into a beast. And
dude.
I actually have something to talk about.
Okay.
So the Raiders declined Josh Jacobs' 5th-year option,
Yes.
which means he is currently an unrestricted free agent at the end of this year. My question for you, Josh, what's going to happen to him?
Dude, this has been the toughest question for me because he has done everything to earn a boatload of cash. And I think he's
Yep.
earned it. I think if you're the Raiders, here's where things get dicey. Your top player, your top quarterback are not young. I don't think they can depend on a younger back. Now, granted, in fantasy, I mean, we'll have to check the numbers once the season's over to see if there's going to be a regression to the means at all. But he's looked like a completely different back this year, and I think you have to pay up for that because will you get a back of that caliber in the draft? I'm not sure. But also, Josh McDaniels and the Patriot system has never valued running backs, and this has just been the complete antithesis of that. So
Yep.
I have absolutely no idea. I would personally say make it at least pay him the 5th-year option plus because I think he's earned it this year. But I don't know what you do as far as the future.
See, for me, my point of view on this is that he has played his way out of their price range. I think
Okay.
he has been too good for them to be able to afford to keep around.
So who can afford Josh Jacobs is the question.
Are we going to get into this?
I mean, I think we have
Are we
to
going to get into this?
because Atlanta's the first team that came to mind.
Let me look at cap space.
Yeah. I will say Atlanta is one team. I would also say Chicago if they didn't have Khalil Herbert. I'm trying to think who else here. I mean, you kind.
No, this is the 2023 season.
Hold on, let me see cap space here. So in 2023, the Bears have the most cap space, followed by the Falcons, Giants, Patriots.
Yeah. Well, the Bears are going to be losing
Monty, but they have Khalil Herbert.
Losing Monty, yeah.
So it's
Falcons
to
pay up for him.
Atlanta's the first team that came to mind. I mean, you kind of see Cordell kind of basically falling off the face of the earth right now. I don't think Bengals.
Any of these other teams. I don't think the Ravens are going to want to pay up for him.
The Ravens are interesting. I don't think they will though. because I think they'll bank on
All of
J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards one more time.
yeah. Yeah. I I don't I don't know, man.
I
I
mean,
don't think any of these top teams are gonna pay for him. And I gotta say, like, he is not the only free agent that's hitting the market next year.
yeah.
There's a plethora, like I think 7 or 8 top talents that are hitting the market as uh, running backs.
Well,
So
so I'll bring up the free agency chart and then I'll bring up potential like running backs here when it comes to free agents for this year, and then I'll bring up the draft order. So technically, I mean, here's the list. Obviously, there's a few people here that are going to be taken: Saquon, Kareem Hunt, Rashad Penny, Jamal Williams, Josh Jacobs, Rex Burkhead, Mozart, Deonta Foreman. Really, I mean, Miles Sanders is in there. Your two big ones are Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon Barkley,
yeah.
he'll get fifth year option. Boom, done. Josh Jacobs. Oh, actually, I don't know if the Giants. Either way, I think the Giants bring back Saquon. I think that goes without saying. The Raiders, I think, kind of have to. And then if we look at the draft order right now,
Hmm.
so this is where it gets interesting. Texans, Bears. Wait. That's not the draft order. Hold on. Oh, let me figure that out. Actually, that is the latest draft order. Okay.
Let's go ahead and go through the Chargers Raiders game real quick,
Yeah, let's do that.
and then we'll finish up with this. So, um,
I mean,
yeah,
so
Austin Eckler, Devontae Adams had
one heck of a
one of the
game.
games of his life.
Yep,
I
which
mean,
is what this year has
he
been. He's had touchdowns in bunches, but
yeah.
he's been way more consistent recently, besides the New Orleans game. But literally since week 8, so Jacksonville 38, Colts, the week 10, 31, 11, 35, week
Yeah.
12, 14, and then this week 41.
You know what? You know what week I traded him and DeAndre Swift for, I think it was CD Lamb and Najee Harris. You know what week I did that?
Last
Week
week,
7.
week
Week 7.
7. Ooh, good timing on your part. I mean, that's what I did with my
Right
CMC trade.
before. Yeah.
My CM,
So
yeah,
I
my
I got a good I got a good deal out of
good
that.
timing on that. My CMC trade was CMC and Lazard for
Hmm.
Cooper Cup. Actually, no, it was CMC and Lazard for Cooper Cup.
Oh, dang. All right. That's not
I
bad.
I
It's
am
not bad.
I am proud of
I
that
like that trade.
because I picked a perfect time to trade uh Cooper Cup.
And you traded him for good stock. I
Yeah,
think CMC is going to be worth more in the long run. So,
yeah, definitely.
okay. On the other side of the ball, Keenan Allen,
Welcome
6
back.
receptions. Yes, 88 yards and a touchdown.
His touchdown was nice too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I love how after he got the touchdown, he started doing this.
Oh yeah,
It was like, because apparently they were chirping at him the whole time.
yeah. Doesn't help that Chargers still lost, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I do find it interesting.
But
Gerald
still.
Everett, 5 catches for 80 yards. So he's been coming
Okay.
alive the last couple games. He had 7 points last week, 13 today. And then the rest of his schedule is Miami, Tennessee, Colts, Rams, Denver. So there's a few games there
That's
where I'm
not
like,
bad.
yeah, not bad at all.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
All right.
let's let's
So,
see. There's a couple. My question to you, and this kind of goes into what we're going to do eventually with Josh Jacobs,
yeah.
but who are the teams that you are calling dead now that you will not take anyone on like from their teams for fantasy? To me, that's Houston. Like I'm kind of done with
Yeah.
Houston this year. I would also say
Broncos.
Broncos is another one. That's the other
Yeah.
obvious one.
There's some people there that I would take for a flex spot or even a
Yeah.
deeper flex consideration. I would do that with the Broncos, but
Yep.
that's it.
And I would also put Atlanta in that category. So
Atlanta and even somewhat the Titans.
yeah, so Titans receivers, I'll say
Yeah.
specifically Titans receivers,
Yeah.
call it a day. But yeah, I mean, so that's four teams there. So I would say, as a fantasy person, you're probably about to go into playoffs. Just
See,
disregard those
yeah.
teams.
Well, even potentially the Steelers.
I think the issue with the
I
Steelers is
think
that
there's still some light at the end of the tunnel for the Steelers.
yeah,
They've got a lot of crap to figure out.
the issue is that one person is going to go off and you don't know which person that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. So, man,
That is the
let's go. Let's
episode.
go into yeah. That is the episode. So, y'all, thank you guys for sticking with us. This is, you know, what, week 13.
In the words of
We're
Scott
almost
Hampson,
there.
this is the witching hour.
Yeah, this is for some of you guys. This week and next week are win and ins, and you have to win out in order to make it into the playoffs. To you guys, good luck to you. If you need any advice, if you need any help setting your lineups, let us know. We will provide what knowledge we have to help you. Just comment if you can. Oh no, there's a cowboy that's out.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay. So yeah, just feel free to comment on anything, any of our posts, any of our YouTube videos. Be sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel and like these videos because it helps the algorithm, get it out to everybody. And we love telling the world how much we love football. So,
Yep, and
and
uh,
also be sure to go in and go to our social medias, uh, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Last Place FP.
yep,
Follow us, all of that fun stuff. So
yep. Follow us
this has
there.
been
This has
a week
been
13
yep, week 13.
review.
And I will say this for Ethan since he is not here.
How about
Sometimes
we
you're
not
right.
do it
Yes.
one week? The one
Well,
week that Ethan is not here, let's not do it. All right.
will you let me adjust? Will you let me adjust to it?
God.
Sometimes you're right, and then sometimes you're Ryan, who's about to win by 100 plus.
Exactly. How right or how no, yeah, no. How right can I be
Well, pretty right
when
based on this
winning?
week.
Yeah, pretty darn right.
Thank you again for everyone for listening to this week's episode of the Last Place Fantasy Podcast. And we will see y'all for week 14 dream lineups.
Yeah.
And may the odds, and especially the fantasy odds, ever be in your favor. Have a good one, everybody.